Oh, sorry.
What, what's your earliest recollection when you were young? And have you got it going? Like, okay, what's your earliest recollection as a young person
Oh,
or a child?
yeah. But are we on this now?
We're on now, yes.
All right. Well, it's very easy to say what it is because it was a big tragedy for me. I squeezed my hand in the gate of the house that we were living in Hartley and squeezed this figure you can see here still and just crunched it all up. So that was when I was about 7.
Okay.
That's about one of the earliest times that I can remember.
And
When we went overseas, my mum and dad, your granny and grandpa, took a trip and I went over to Germany and France and England with them.
How old were you then?
I was 5.
Okay.
I even went to a primary school while my dad went to university to do another course.
What, in teaching?
He's
Art?
teaching, yeah. So he did that, and I stayed and went to my first primary school in England.
Where did you stay in England?
We stayed with my parents, who were with their son.
Were they not staying with relatives? Or did they have their own place?
Yeah, they could.
Because your dad had, 9 brothers? Hey?
Yeah.
And
Well, it was one of them that we stayed with. And also we stayed in Lower Slaughter, a place called Lower Slaughter, in the Cotswolds.
okay.
And we stayed there for a long time, I remember.
Yeah.
And one of the most dramatic times again there that I can remember is that I had a scooter, just a push scooter. And I took it over this bridge, which is over the Lower Slaughter River.
Yeah.
And I got at the top and I wobbled and went and fell over and into the water. So that was all a great thing for people to see and watch and see me.
Could you swim at that stage?
Oh, no,
Oh, you couldn't
not
swim.
at that time.
Okay.
And another occasion there, my parents took us to some church, abbey,
Okay.
and we went up the tower, and the tower had a circular staircase going up like this. And I was very worried that I would lose contact with the people in front of me, in the back of me, because suddenly if you turn the corner on like that, suddenly you're on your own. And I didn't think that they would find me again, but of course it was just like this. That was a great time. Visit to England.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to Germany just before the war, that's right.
Okay. And
So now I'm nearly 90.
yeah, long
I'll
time
be
ago.
90 in a day's time.
And your dad grew up in England.
He was he was born in England and brought up in England.
Whereabouts was he born?
In Surrey,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, so that's still where the family mainly is, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Rogers family and all of them.
That's right,
Yeah.
yes.
And your mom grew up in South Africa.
She's a South African.
Yeah. But her parents?
My grandfather was a doctor, medical doctor, and they lived in Joburg, and up in stories about the Boer War
Amazing.
used to engross me when I used to come on weekends and spend time with them
Yeah.
and hear all these stories.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got no regrets.
No.
I have a very nice family, you included,
Thank you.
of course, and then your family coming now. It's great.
Yeah.
And,
when you were young, you wanted to teach, didn't you? You didn't want to...
I wanted to teach. When I was at university, I was at Cape Town University.
Yeah.
I was all set to take a course
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah. And then what...
Changed my mind.
You were doing varsity vac on the trains, were you?
Yes. I went back for a holiday, and I went and got a job with the railways. This is before I joined the railways, but I got them to give me a job, and I was a steward on the trains, carrying. I worked my butt off, really, very hard work. The trains were full during the Christmas time, and the people all very happy to sit back in their compartments and be served with the food instead of going down to the dining car. I had to go down and get it, come back with these trays of food and all the rest of it. And it was quite an experience, that. But I enjoyed it, and it was brought in money for me. Little money anyway.
Yeah.
So that was that.
And your schooling was St. John's College in Johannesburg?
I went when I was 9 years old to St. John's Preparatory School in Joburg. And that was a tough time for me to leave home at that time. But I soon sort of forgot about things like that. And I only went back home once a year.
Wow.
One holiday, Christmas. Couldn't afford to go, twice or three times holidays. But I had a long time with St. John's. I stayed there for a post-matric. And
you were head boy, weren't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was in my final year, yeah. Anyway.
And special friends when you were growing up?
Special friends have all disappeared, believe it or not. When I say that, they were from around Transvaal, northern Transvaal. And I came down here to Cape Town and I've lost contact. I haven't got any of those friends left. And that's a great tragedy in my book, that I didn't have that background of old friends. And I've never been back to Rhodesia.
No, since you left.
In any case, I think they've all disappeared. And
they've all disappeared.
Distributed themselves all over the world now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You're all probably in your 80s and 90s now.
Yeah.
All of you would be 80 and 90 years old now.
Your
friends.
They would be gone, and yeah, I think I'm probably one of the last of the gang sort of thing, But I don't know because I've lost contact with them.
Yeah.
Which is a pity.
Yeah.
But it's the way things go anyway.
Well, especially when you move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you must remember I've been to live in Gatuma, I've lived in Gwello, I've lived in Salisbury, Umtali, Port Plumtree, with my dad, being teaching and that sort of thing. And then, of course, I spent all my time on the railways, and that was mainly in northern Rhodesia and southern Rhodesia, but I spent a lot of time there.
I was thinking about you the other day when they had that derailment in Cape Town Station. All the headaches you had when you were head of operations before you became general manager.
Yeah.
With the derailments, some of the derailments.
Oh,
all
the
hard
derailment.
work that you had to do with each derailment.
It was extraordinary. The background that I've got about that. It's not a nice subject, but the accidents we had in this rather primitive way of running a railway, single line track, and having head-on collisions and everything like that. And each one was real tragedy. And I had to be involved in all of these, rush off to see this blood and gore,
Yeah, that's good.
people howling and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was a great experience. And as I say, I spent from when I was aged 9, and then when I finished university, I came back, and I was on the railways for over 40 years.
Long time.
Yeah.
You
Well,
saw a lot, learnt a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. But they sent me overseas in my earlier days, training. They decided to send 3 people independently over to England to learn and see what a railway really looks like, not our sort of, single track thing. And I went over and I was there for 6 months.
Okay.
That was a big experience. And the other big experience I had was I got selected to come with the Rhodesian contingent to the coronation.
That's right.
And so I went overseas again,
With that.
thanks to the government, that
Yeah.
was. So I've been very lucky in my years,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy about my family.
Yeah. Well, we were very fortunate to have you.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
Looking after us and giving us a good childhood and in Bulawayo.
Yes, well, that was, the days of Bulawayo.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Bulawayo,
Yeah.
liked the people there.
Yeah, they were good. It was a lovely place.
But I've enjoyed myself down here in Cape Town. Always wanted to come and stay permanently in Cape Town. And here I am.
Yeah, here you are.
I'm not going to move anywhere else.
No. No.
But I lost a lot of friends by being away from Joburg and school. All my school friends really came from the Transvaal at the very best. A lot of them from Joburg.
Yeah.
And then when I came down here, I just lost contact with them,
Yeah.
which is a great pity because I realised how important it is to have friends, and long-standing friends.
And connections, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's right.
Yeah. People who can understand where you've come from and what you've been through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've enjoyed my life. I hope I got a few more years to go.
I'm sure you have. 'Cause
And I don't feel any older.
you don't.
I've still swim every other day, and yeah,
But you've always been active. You've
Yeah.
done rugby and tennis.
well, particularly rugby, tennis, and cricket
You did
at
a lot
school.
of bowls as well.
Oh, bowls! That happened when I was, retired.
Yeah. So out of all the sports, which one have you enjoyed the most?
Oh, I think my days of rugby.
Really? What position did you play?
Loose forward or 8th man, one of the two. using my skills at running and tackling and
Okay.
anticipating what's going to happen with the opposition.
I'm
I
sure.
enjoyed it very much.
I'm sure your mum wouldn't have enjoyed watching you play rugby.
She was terrified. She used to come down and see me playing in Bulawayo, and she was biting her nails, so to speak, all the time, and hoping that I wasn't going to be hurt. And she'd just see me disappear, my bald head disappearing in amongst a ravage of loose scrums, as they call it,
Yes.
and come out bleeding. And but nothing ever really happened.
Yeah.
No, it was nice.
What was-
I've had a good time though.
yeah. Any big event that changed your life?
Big events.
That changed your life?
Well, of course, being married
Yeah.
to your granny, Dorothy.
My mum.
Your mum, sorry. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yes. So there we are. I've been very fortunate in my life that I really appreciate.
And you've always had a good sense of humour to go with it.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. I still remember some of the good stories you've told over the years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Your party jokes.
Yeah. I haven't had much opportunity of doing those here. But anyway, I'm well accommodated here in this village, Silver Mine,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of people here. Many more people than I ever did before,
Really?
because this is a big village.
Yeah, it is. But you've been happy here.
I've been very happy,
Yeah.
and I've been in prominent positions here. I've been chairman of this and that. I'm chairman of the little chapel we've got here. I've been chairman of the village, and had quite a lot of activity like that. Sometimes not all fun. Lots of occasions when it was drama, but that was all part of the deal.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Now I'm 90, I can't believe it. Well, I'm nearly 90.
Did you ever think you would get to 90? You never actually think about it. do
I
you?
never really thought about it.
Yeah.
You don't think about that. It's something too far away, and but it's suddenly come, quickly.
Yeah.
When I think that 10 years, 12 years ago, I wasn't even thinking of any.
No.
And here we are now, just a few days off.
Quite
90.
a thought.
Anyway, I've been very lucky, and I've appreciated my life very much, and my family
Yeah.
and all my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
But of course the big thing is that I lost all my hair when I was 14.
Were you 14 at the time?
14 when it first came out, when I was at school in Joburg. And that was tough, having to put up with that as well on my own.
Yeah.
I mean, I had all the support that I needed from the masters and from others, from my friends at school, but it wasn't the same as being at home. I'll never forget the first time I had to go home on holiday, that they had seen me with my hair all coming out in big patches. And they agreed like a shot when I said, I think all I need is a bandage over there, and I'll pretend that I've had a bad accident and broken my skin on my head, which I did.
I think
And
I remember a photograph of you with that bandage on your
I
head.
learned to actually make the bandage myself,
Okay.
which was quite a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's one of those things that you've got to suffer. Not. I've seen doctors galore. They've all had different views, but nothing has worked.
No.
And I've just met a couple of people in my time who had the same thing.
Yeah.
So it isn't an extraordinary thing, but nearly.
But not common.
Yeah.
But I mean, there again, you had it at a good time because there were movie star actors who shaved their hair off just to look like
Well,
that.
Bryner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brule Bryan. What was his name? Brule Briner or something.
Brule, yeah.
He was a big movie star.
Well, that's right. Everybody thought I was copying him, but he copied me. Yeah.
And the story with the wigs and blowing off with the
Oh,
southeaster.
that was, that was when I was down in Cape Town. I went and got a wig. It cost quite a lot of money. And it fitted on my head, and it had springs on the side, inside, to tension and in the back there's another big spring there, tensioning.
Yeah.
But after a few months of wearing this and taking it off, the spring got, like all springs, weaker and weaker. So eventually I could just put my wig on and do that and turn it round. And I remember coming in Cape Town one day. I was walking home to get a train to come back to varsity, and the southeaster was blowing, and I knew that I had to bend my head. I had to do. The southeaster was just around by the city hall, and I didn't do it in time, and my hair came up like this, stayed on my head, but came up like that, and I walked, and I didn't realise it was up like that, and two people were walking opposite me, and they saw this, and their mouths just opened like this, and they watched me walk past, and that was a big joke.
Yeah.
You know, I was laughing, pulling it back again like that, and they couldn't get over this. When I turned around halfway, and there they were, both of them looking like this. They couldn't believe it. I bet that story went round.
Yeah, about what the southeaster can do.
What the southeaster could do in Cape Town. Yeah.
And about that housemaster or whatever who told you to get your hair cut. And you
Oh,
just took
that
the-
was at university. Yeah.
You had hair regulations in those days.
There was?
Hair regulations
Yeah.
at university.
At university. I didn't have any hair that I could take my wig off. But I went to this, and they saw me whenever I went out at the varsity residence. Always had my wig on. And then on occasions I took it off, obviously at night, but otherwise I took it off. And they didn't know who it was. There were two Averys, and they get muddled up, and they say, well, where's the other one? I said, he's here. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that was, I learned to be very inconsequent. It didn't worry me. after a while.
Mm.
People have always been sympathetic, but it hasn't worried me all that much.
Mm.
Subsequently, early on, it did a lot,
Mm.
like putting a bandage on and all the rest of it. And also here at Cape Town, we used to come down with my parents. I used to come from school, join them, and we used to come down to Cape Town. And I went swimming here and in False Bay, and I didn't have, I just went in like this, and I dived in, and I scratched my head on on a rock underneath, and all this came off. I must have looked like a tomahawk.
Yeah.
But that was a bad accident, and it lasted a long time, and took a long time to repair the skin.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's all water under the bridge,
Water
they
under
say.
the bridge.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Any questions you want to ask?
No.
We've heard enough, huh?
You've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but it's good. We'll show you the video when we finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the other thing is I squeezed this finger
In the gate.
in the gate when I was at Hartley and swinging on the bridge, and I put it in right near the stanchions and got this finger all messed up here. But that was when I was about 6, 7.
But I know you were quite naughty as well when you were young.
I think I was. I think I must have given my dad and mum grey
I
hairs.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
My recollection of you being naughty was with Louis Perry Bonus. And Louis had this rubber finger that had blood on the end.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
walked into the kitchen and you asked the cook boy for a knife because you wanted to cut some bread or biltong.
Yeah.
And then you left the finger on the breadboard and you just jumped around and the cook boy just ran outside and knocked himself
I'd
in-
forgotten about
in
that.
his
Yeah.
tire, and he wouldn't come out because he was terrified.
It must have been horrifying for him.
Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, it's been a good life.
yeah. Good. Well, happy birthday for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We hope it'll be a good celebration.
Will be.